we go through that. I mean, we just play that twice, right?
Yeah.
Before going into that. Yeah.
And then, yeah, there was one where it was piano one. Oh, and then, yeah, Christmas Time Is Here was where it was piano only, and then everybody moved.
Yeah, and I think I got that one. Yeah, first time just Susan. And then
oh, yeah. We should see where. Wait, so if you guys moved to Cary, you must have been at Terracotta there.
oh, that's the one that's right across the street from. Yeah, from like Beach Peak.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've actually only been there once, and yeah, and I was like, man, I have to like come back here, but it's dangerous too. I was like, dude, anything I get here, I could like,
That's the problem. Like,
yeah,
to the point where the guy, like, they didn't have Brussels sprouts for an entire summer because the guy, like, wasn't satisfied with the quality he could get.
Really?
He's just like, we're not putting them on the menu again until I can make it more food. Like,
man.
everything you know has gone through that guy's personal. Yeah.
And that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah. The one time I went, it was a friend who was really familiar with the area, and we just ordered like containers with like 15 things, and just like three of us just sat there. We're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Yeah.
Did you get a fresh made cannoli too?
No, well, it's tough also because do you know Lil's?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Lil's is like, you know, like 3 blocks from here. So, yeah, we live like a block from, so, oh man, do you know, like, if you go over the bridge from here, if you're driving, if you turn left and go through those lights, there's a building with like a giant chair. It's like a
Yeah.
yeah. So like we're like right behind that. If you turn right like you were going into that parking lot, that's a tiny dead end street. There are just 2 houses on it, and we're the last house.
Oh, I totally turned around in front of your house thinking that was a shortcut I could take on my bicycle.
Oh,
and it turned out only if you're like willing to go,
yeah,
down the cliff.
Yeah. That's we're on that little street.
Yeah, you guys nailed it. They had such a cool street.
It's yeah, we totally lucked out. It's actually owned by a good friend of mine who lives in North Carolina. We worked together on Star Island, and she moved out to North Carolina like 20 years ago to help her dad manage. He has like 8 or 9 properties.
Oh wow.
And she has the idea of potentially moving back up here or something. So she like bought the house, but it had to be rented. And it needed some work. So she was like,
I hope so.
Yeah. This is
We're just we're chewing the fat. I think is what they call it. Or chewing the fat. Chewing the fat.
Wow, what a start, what a start. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Happy Pageant Sunday. Happy Hanukkah, happy solstice. My name is Kirsten Hunter. I'm the director of Lifespan Ministries here at South Church. I am so grateful to be here together with all of you and everyone online. And we're going to do something a little out of order this morning, because in 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes, it is officially the solstice. And we're almost never together for this, actual moment. And as I realized that it was at 10:03 a.m., I thought to myself, well, we need to mark it, right at the moment, that the sun is the absolute furthest that it will be from us for this whole coming year. And every moment after 10:03 a.m., it will just be getting a little bit brighter, at least till halfway through. So, John Forti is going to come up and join me and light for us the solstice candle as well as the Yule log. Just as we hit 10:03, I'll tell you when it happens, John. W.S. Merwin has this sweet little poem titled Solstice. It goes, "Inside the sky, suddenly the sunflower bowed his head and went on down into the dark, down into the earth as a long shadow." As we relish in these long, dark days of winter, let us send our gratitude out toward the sun, which will now begin its long journey back toward the earth, bringing us light and warmth and new life. Blessed season of this year, thank you for all of the lessons you offer us. Pretty cool. Sort of imagine it like a slingshot. I know that's not how it is, but there's something about that. So welcome everyone joining us this morning here in person and online, to all of the beautiful people that are touching with us now, and everyone who will come and watch this recording later. We are so happy you are here. I am leading worship today alongside Willow Young, our worship associate. I am a co-lead of this church alongside Reverend Ellen Quadgrass, and we serve in co-ministry humbly with all of you, and it is a beautiful thing. Our music will be offered this morning by the South Church Band. Woohoo! And they are, of course, deeply supported by our Director of Music Ministry, Johnny Pfeiffer, and our pianist, Susan Adams, as well as Jen Leyden, our administrator and vocalist extraordinaire, and deep thanks to Ben Abbott in the back, who is handling our tech and is available to those of you online who have a question or something you'd like to share in the chat. Ben will keep an eye on the live chat. Feel free to have conversation in that space. I encourage you to take a look at your order of service this morning for details about lots of things that are happening. As it is Pageant Sunday, the children will be remaining in the sanctuary today, and our nursery staff and nursery children are up here as well. The nursery is available if parents need to do a diaper change or anything like that, but it is not staffed this morning. After service, we have coffee hour downstairs, where I hope you will join us and have some coffee and festivities and talk about how goofy and fun and joyful the pageant was, because it is sure to be. If you have not been here before, our pageant is a pickup pageant, which means you just go back and pick up a role, and then we make it happen. There's no rehearsing. It is not at all perfect, and we like it that way. If you are in the pews and you have not yet gone back to pick up a role, but you would like to participate, I believe there are still roles to be had, so feel free to go back now. I'll do one more call at the end of our opening words in case we still are missing some critical people. So some of you might get put on the spot if we're short, just a warning. Also, in your pews, you'll notice stars. If there's a star near you, you already have a role, and you might not have even known it. So be mindful of that star. You'll have a job to do with that later. I wanted to share a couple of announcements this morning. One is our Christmas Eve services, which are candlelight services that happen here every year. They will be happening at 5 and 8 p.m. this year. The 5 p.m., it tends to be more family, a little more joy, a little more raucous, a little more energy. The 8 p.m. tends to be a little bit more somber, but anyone of any age is welcome at either service. We hope you will be joining us for that. Also, on New Year's Eve night, on first night, we have our annual chili sale. And I want to sort of show something neat. If you have ever made chili for the chili sale, please raise your hand. We tend to have like 40 vats of chili that are made by people in the congregation, and then you can come and look at this robust menu of all kinds of different chilies: chicken chili, meat chili, bean chili, sweet potato chilies, like all these different options. And you can even try multiple. It's a fundraiser for our high school youth group. It's super fun and joyful, and a nice way to spend time with South Church folks before the fireworks, which happen at 7:30. So come between 5 and 7, have chili with us. And the South Church Band is going to be playing some music up here that night, so we get to hear them again if you come to chili nights. There's also a sale, I think, happening downstairs this morning. Our high school youth are selling fair trade goods and the candles that they make from the candles that we use for prayer. They use all the nubs and they melt them down and they make them into a candle called the Candle of Concern. And they sell those as a fundraiser, and they capture all of the prayers of our congregation in these little jars. So they're pretty special and all unique, and I encourage you to pick one up downstairs. And lastly, I don't think I missed anything important there. Adult OWL registration is happening. The Adult Learning Journey registration is happening. You can read about those in the order of service. Jen Seavey is going to pass around a piece of paper. I came across some phone numbers this weekend as I was watching reports on a rapid response network that I'm a part of. Immigration enforcement officials were on the seacoast over this past weekend. They are present across New Hampshire right now. I know that people in Massachusetts have been seeing people being abducted as well. I encourage you to look at those phone numbers, take a photo of them, and put them in your address book. They are the rapid response numbers for the state of Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and Vermont. So if you're in any of those states with regularity and you put that into your phone, then when you see ICE, you can report it to a rapid response network. This is how the responses that we're seeing across the country are happening, where people show up really quickly and put themselves into configurations to try to inhibit ICE from doing what they're doing. At this time of year, but always, I think there is a moral injury to what we're witnessing in the way our immigrant siblings are being treated in our country, and I encourage everyone to be a part of resistance against the policies that we're watching be enacted. If you have questions about how that works, you can talk to me, you can talk to Janet Pulaski. If you'd raise your hand, Janet. We're happy to give a few instructions of like what's good information to capture if you're reporting to the rapid response networks. But taking video is good, marking a license plate is good. Basically any details about the street where you are, if you report that, then they have the best opportunity to get people there in response. Never talk to or interrupt. Don't put yourself at risk. You're just documenting and letting them know. Okay. I'm going to offer our land acknowledgement as we get started. As part of our welcoming words each Sunday, we acknowledge this land where we gather. It is known to the indigenous people as Indokina, which is the traditional ancestral homeland of the Abenaki, the Pennacook, and the Wabanaki peoples past and present. People for whom justice and self-determination has long been withheld. Along with this acknowledgement, may we remain committed to take action to repair harm and to repair damaged relationships with our indigenous brothers and sisters, people here in New England and across the globe, as well as with the land herself.
Bring a torch, Jeanette, Isabella, bring a torch and quickly run. Christ is born, good folk of the village, Christ is born. Mary's calling up, up, beautiful is the mother, up, up, beautiful is her child.
Good morning. So we light our chalice this morning with words from Reverend Leslie Takahashi. This is the season of anticipation, of expecting, of hoping, of wanting. This is the time of expecting the arrival of something or someone. We are waiting. This is the time of living in darkness, in the hues of unknowing, of being quiet, of reflecting on a year almost past, waiting for a new beginning, for a closing or an end. We are waiting, bringing lightness where there is heaviness, joy where there is sorrow. And now Myra Anderson will join us to offer a blessing as we acknowledge Hanukkah, the Jewish festival of lights. Candles are lit on Hanukkah to commemorate the miracle of a small amount of oil, just 1 day's worth, which lasted for 8 days when the sacred temple in Jerusalem was rededicated in the 2nd century BC. So the holiday lasts for 8 nights. The menorah holds 9 candles. The shamos, or leader candle, generally located in the middle, is used to light the others. 1 candle the first night, 2 the second night, and so on. And tonight will be the 8th night. And as the 8th candle of Hanukkah will not be lit until sunset, this morning we will just be lighting 7 candles after Myra sings the traditional blessing.
Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'tzmo v'otavo, v'tzivanu l'adlik ner shel Hanukkah. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings moments of holiness to our lives through the ritual of lighting the Hanukkah lights. Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim lavoteinu, bayamim hahem b'azman hazeh. Blessed are you, source of all, who brings our attention to miracles from ages past to this very moment.
And in honor of Advent, we invite Lori Bilby to join us to light the Advent wreath. Light now the Advent candle 1. The work of waiting has begun. A single flame now shining bright, it beams hope through the long stretch of night. Light now the Advent candle 2. Since love is bringing something new, a baby to a family, and miracles for me and you. Light now the Advent candle 3. And people happy songs employ. We light a pink one on this day to signify the light of joy. And light now the Advent candle 4, a blazing light that shines for peace. Jesus has come to teach us love. May hope, love, joy, and peace increase. Thank you all for bringing such light this morning. I invite everyone to please stand as you are willing and able in body or spirit for the joining in of our mission statement. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community. Thank you. And I believe John will be joining us for some opening words.
Good morning, everybody, and happy solstice and happy Yule. It was nice to light the Yule log today because in the old traditions, you would take an ember or the last piece of your Yule log from the year previous, and you'd keep that light, that tradition alive, and kindle a new Yule log. And as you can see, this is a season of light and a celebration of light. With that, I also wanted to bring you some words about wreaths. So I made this wreath for this community, and I think part of what we used to do was gather in community at solstice. We would go out, we're sailing, we'd go to people's homes, we'd bring things, and when we saw a need, we'd bring more light. We'd bring them candles or firewood or heating fuel or whatever the equivalent might be, but we brought gifts in this season, and it didn't just happen on a day, it was the whole season of Yule. And for me, a wreath is part of what symbolizes that wheel of life that solstice brings. So I'd like to read to you a piece from my book called The Heirloom Gardener. Solstice carries us through another turn of the wheel of life. It offers a time to go into the dark with hope of new light returning, as it ushers in a liminal time to consider what has transpired and what lies ahead. For centuries, solstice and holiday wreaths have been used ceremonially to represent this wheel of life as a circle of hope. In the process of making them, our ancestors intertwined hopes and intentions as they made wreaths for their doors. These wreaths symbolized eternity because the ring shape has no beginning or end. A linear path in contrast. A linear path in contrast merely takes us from beginning to end, but the wheel of life symbolized in a wreath reminds us that we are always most vital, engaged, and alive when we accept our current phase, ponder our path, and celebrate the season at hand. So each year I like to go out foraging with friends, taking a walk, gathering natural materials, and making a wreath. All become a link to ritual and meditation on the seasons. Intertwined botanicals form an artful intersection between natural and domestic worlds, and they turn a front doorway into a portal, bridging the two. Creating a wreath, and especially this one for me, is a labor of love. It's a reminder that no matter where we are in the seasons or phases of our life, we will continue to cycle through the good, the bad, the ups and downs, youth and aging, life and death, taking comfort in the recurrence of spring, summer, winter, and fall, drawing vitality from each to celebrate the mood and the spirit of the season. With a wreath like this, maybe at the bottom you're in winter and you're thinking, oh, spring's never gonna come, or this regime is never gonna end, or whatever it might be. But in the larger circle, in the wheel of life, it reminds us that we're just in a little moment in history, in our lives, in the development of the future. So you might be at the top of that wheel, you might be at the bottom, but you're gonna keep cycling through. Each of us, according to season or phase, will find ourselves moving along the wheel of life, marking the present by utilizing the greens and botanicals that are thriving outdoors in this particular season. Holly and ivy, rosemary and bay, spruce and pine bring bring the best of the outdoors in when we celebrate solstice and Christmas in the bleak midwinter. Tradition also held that we made wreaths of laurel to mark times of celebration, baby's breath for times of birth, rosemary for remembrance, and acacia for times of mourning. After the holidays, I moved my wreaths to trees along the edge of the woods. I pay these fading seasonal markers homage by giving them back to nature and making way for the next turn of the wheel. In tribute to that cyclical process, the fruits, seeds, and cones and berries turn reeds into neighborhood bird feeders, and the wildlife that replants them create new generations of growth as faded heirloom and native botanicals are sown into the surrounding landscape. Once reeds are picked over, they almost inevitably become places for nesting. Another visible reminder in the circle of life that our own creative contributions to the larger wheel of life. This wreath and the intentions I wound into it offer thanks to this South Church community, along with wishes of joy, health, love, and peace in the new year. So thank you, and everybody, for being a part of this church. I have to say, in times like these, when I feel my heart closing up, I come here, and it seems to somehow always break it open again. So thanks for being a part of that wheel of life for me, too.
Very quickly, Jenny, are we all good back there? We're all good. If there's any last minute people that want to be a part of the pageant, this is your last chance. And we're going to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, hymn number 237 in your gray hymnal.
The first Nowell, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Nowell, 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 born is the King of Israel. They looked up and saw a star shining in the east beyond them far, and to the earth it gave gray light, and so it continued both day and night. Nowell, 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 born is the King of Israel, and by the light of that same star, 3 magi came from country afar to seek a king was their intent, and to follow the star wherever it went. Nowell, 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 born is the King of Israel.
If you're in the pews and in a costume, you may want to go to the back of the room. So, the stories that we share on Pageant Sunday have been carried imperfectly forward for more than 2,000 years to find their way to this sweet morning in this beautiful place. Let us again imagine it. As the story goes, long, long ago, in the dark of night, in a field, some miles from Bethlehem, there were some sheep and shepherds. Baying as they came. Oh, look at those glorious sheep and shepherds. Their baas were echoing across the field. There was a gentle din of so many sheep, and their dear shepherds, attentive by their side, along with a handsome sheepdog, maybe, or maybe not. Oh, there's the sheepdog. The shepherds had noticed their sheep stirring about in this night, and they were trying to settle them. They had given them some grass, which they were chewing, when all of a sudden, angels appeared, swooshing and swooping down the aisles, their halos floating above their heads, and the firmament of stars in the sky seemed to shine a little brighter. Oh. Yes.
And there they were, all angelic and beaming, swirling and flying. As much as they will. And the stars shimmering, so many stars, we can't let them fall from the sky. And the shepherds saw them and were amazed. They gasped. And the sheep were even amazed. How do sheep be amazed? They bawed in all of their amazement at these angels. And the angels came bearing wonderful news, tidings of great joy. A child has been born that night who the angel said, would bring relief to the poor, release to the captives, and freedom to the oppressed. The angel said, you will find him in a manger, wrapped in a swaddling of clothes. They shared all this good news with their hands outstretched, with their very expressive gestures of sharing great news to the shepherds and the sheep amongst them.
Did the shepherds say to each other? They did. I missed it. It's so hard to hear Willow from over here. And they all went back to their seats, but they kept their costumes on. And once they got to their seats, everyone rose to sing in body or spirit hymn number 253.
Oh, come ye to Bethlehem.
on that winter night, so long ago, Mary and Joseph found themselves in Bethlehem. They had traveled to Bethlehem, Joseph's hometown, because I lost my place. Because a census had been called. There was a donkey with them, a wise donkey, in fact, two. And it's often said that they found no room at the inn, although it's likely they did not try to find a room at the inn. It was Joseph's hometown. It's likely that many, many people were there because of the census that had been called, and that there was probably not room in his family's home in the upper portion of the house. In ancient Palestine, homes tended to have living space upstairs, and on the bottom floor was where the animals stayed, as well as where events and things were held. And so it's likely that this is where Mary and Joseph found themselves, and it had two comfortable chairs. And their donkeys were allowed to sit and rest on the steps if they wished. As we mentioned, there were animals down there, quite a few in fact, cows and goats and more goats and more goats and a few sheep. So many goats and some sheep. One year there was a rooster. Mary soon had her baby. Mary soon had her baby. Oh, wrapped in swaddling clothes.
And she sat and held him close while Joseph stayed beside her and looked on. All around, as the animals kept coming in, they lay, and some of them rested in the quiet stable. Some of the animals crept close and knelt to watch the young couple with their child, so curious. And soon, the shepherds arrived with their sheep, with the angels, all following close behind as they find their way back out of the heavens. Guided by those wonderful stars shining out there on their journey to Bethlehem to bear witness.
The shepherds were amazed to discover that the story the angels had told them was true, and they sat and gazed at the newborn baby while the angels looked on from above. The stars shone brightly in the night, and one special star rose up over the manger amidst the angels, shedding its light on the scene below. Jesus would grow up to preach an abiding message of love and peace that challenges and comforts us to this day. We will talk more about that soon, but for now, let us sing while we enjoy this scene. If all of you would remain in place while the congregation rises and joins me in singing hymn number 241.
In the bleak midwinter, frosty wind made moan. Earth stood hard as iron, water like a stone.
Okay, dear loves, you can go back to your pews and keep your costumes on.
It's so wonderful, all this generosity amongst us, giving gifts of time, of talent, of flexibility, of fun. It's a lot of what we try to do here is find the gifts that we have available to give, to support each other, to support our community, to support this congregation and the larger world around us. And in that practice, we at South Church also extend our plate every week or throughout the month with a different organization each month. And this month, during the month of December, in Choosing Hope, we are sharing our plate with the Joan G. Lovering Health Center. Lovering Health is a reproductive and sexual health center providing STI testing and treatment, including HIV testing, PrEP therapy for HIV prevention, contraception, birth control, gynecological care, wellness visits, peri- and postmenopausal care, gender-affirming hormone therapy, and abortion care services. You can learn much more on their website at joanleveringhealthcenter.org. But now we also encourage everyone to join in and offer up to their plate beyond our usual pledging. You may do so either directly with the ushers or by using your phone and pointing it at the QR code and doing so through our website. I invite our ushers to come forward and take up this morning's offering. Thank you.
Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. We're all gathered here, those far away, for this time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
So now we are going to settle into a time of meditation or prayer. I am delighted to share some joyful news this morning. Just last week, Theo Wigand and Ellie Kane and their children Evelyn and Jack welcomed a new baby into their family. We are so excited to meet Lillian Theodora, who was born on December 14th, and their family will be back soon if they're not home already from Arizona, where the baby was born. And I also want to pass along a message from Susie and Pete Hamblett. As Reverend Ellen shared last week, Susie is at home receiving hospice care. She's surrounded by family, and when I stopped in for a short visit this week, they asked me to tell all of you that they really wish they could be here this morning. They might be watching online. And they want you to know that they've appreciated all of the cards and the love that you have sent their way and all of the time they've shared here with this congregation. They deeply, deeply love you, and they send their love to this room this morning. Tonight at 5 o'clock, Reverend Ellen and I think Reverend Ellen will probably not still be in a donkey costume. Not to joke. Reverend Ellen and I will be joining several other local ministers along with staff from the Crossroads House at Market Square. It is right in front of North Church. They will be hosting a vigil called the Longest Night Vigil. It is a vigil in memory of all of those in our state who have died while homeless over this past year. As we move into this time of meditation and prayer, may we hold closest to our hearts those who are most vulnerable among us. I pray for a night when there are no names to read out in the cold of this darkest night. This is a season that can be filled with joy, and it can also be full of challenging times for many of us for many reasons. It's a season where we hold laughter right alongside pain. It's a season where we long for things that aren't here, for people that are gone. And we celebrate what's around us, and we celebrate the abundance that we are receiving, and it's all a lot. But when we hold those things alongside one another, when we sit with grief alongside gratitude, when we sit with joy alongside heartbreak, we honor what it means to be human. That it is a miracle, a miraculous experience, but also relentless. That it is both gentle and painful and raw. And in honoring that together, in practicing the both and of that truth, we become stronger as we navigate it. And we recognize the company we are in. And we realize we are not alone. Beloved universe, Mother Earth, God of many names, or no name at all, Spirit of life, hear this prayer. May we be guided by love in all that we do. May love wrap its arms around every soul on this precious planet we call home. On this darkest day of the year, let us pray that a turn toward peace and justice emerges along with the turning of this season. May our resolve to be change makers grow with the brighter days ahead. And as we attune to the endless opportunities for change that life offers to us, may we find ourselves a part of a great tide that will wash away suffering. When we have the strength, may we show up to lend a hand. When we are weary, may we allow ourselves to rest. When we have comfort, may we share it generously. When we are in need, may we be willing to ask for help. When we hurt, may we find care and space to grieve and heal. And whenever we can, as often as possible, may we find reasons to laugh and to play together and to welcome joy and to sing. To remind each other that all of that is a part of this magnificent life. We are not alone. Each one of us is a part of this remarkable community, and this community expands outward and touches everything. May it offer us hope and grace, compassion, and inspiration. Notice the gifts that surround us, the sounds of children. Notice the path of love that is always waiting for our company. May it be so. May our prayers travel from our hearts out into this world and add to the love that is in abundance for all to find. I love the joy of that. For many years now, the third part of our pageant has been a parable from the teachings of Jesus after he grew from that baby in the manger into a teacher, a preacher, and a prophet. And every year we say something about how his teachings have long been the most important part of the story for Unitarian Universalists, more important than the story of his birth or the story of his death. And today I thought I would share, before we get started on the pageant itself, on the parable itself, a tiny bit of why we say that. Why we say that the teachings of Jesus, are the most important part for Unitarian Universalists in particular. Now, you may know that our Unitarian and Universalist ancestors were often considered to be Christian heretics. They were kind of always going against the grain. As far back in time as when the New Testament was being written, our ancestors refused the idea of the Trinity. As the popular opinion was, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost is the way we're going to go, and precursors to the Unitarians said, not so much for me. In slightly different ways, both Unitarian, and a bit later, they also refuted the concepts of heaven and hell, another controversial position to take. In slightly different ways, both Unitarians and Universalists over the arc of history have committed themselves to a belief that revelation is not sealed. They've committed themselves to a commitment of asking questions, welcoming questions, considering the possibility that maybe we know something more now, maybe we want to think differently about this. Let's talk about it. Let's change how we are. And their non-compliance to sticking with the story eventually led them to the pluralism that informs the spiritual food of Unitarian Universalism today. But through all of our evolution, Jesus' teachings are still a big part of what inspires who we are as Unitarian Universalists. Jesus' teachings can inform us whether or not we are theists, whether or not we are connected to Christianity at all. They can inform us if we are Buddhist or if we have a pretty strong bond with science and logic. The formation of the Unitarian faith began in Romania in the 1500s, right around the same time as the Protestant Reformation. There was a man at that time named Francis David, I've talked to you about him before, who's quoted as having said, "We need not think alike to love alike. At the center of our faith is not belief, but love." That was in the 1500s. In the 1700s, here in New England, Universalist preacher Hosea Ballou, who has since become known as the father of Universalism, he believed and told his followers that heaven and hell are not found in any kind of afterlife, but simply in life we create on this earth. A heretic, to be sure, amongst many people's perspectives, but again, this was not a far stretch from what Jesus himself was teaching when he was alive. While many Christian faith traditions centered their attention on how Jesus died on the cross, Ballou rejected that idea. He said that Jesus' death on the cross was not what saved us. Rather, what he taught is what saved us. His embodiment of love and justice. Paradise for the Universalists then was a place here on earth where people struggle with injustice and where we find what we are called toward, where we are challenged to develop our wisdom and our capacity to practice love. So these stories that Jesus taught more than 2,000 years ago have been carried all the way forward to core parts of the principles of who we say we are as Unitarian Universalists today. And maybe we don't feel so much like a Christian faith, but the wisdom of Jesus lives in this room and lives in how we choose to live our lives. He was most concerned about how you choose to live your life while you are here on earth, as are we. So the baby Jesus grew up. Where is he? Oh, there he is. And it said that he was often in the company of people seeking his wisdom. There was a group of close followers known as his disciples who traveled with him and sought his teachings. And there was also generally another larger crowd of folks who came around and were curious about what he had to say when he would speak from place to place. The townspeople would gather along with the disciples and listen to the stories he had to share. His stories were called parables. This is one of those parables. It's from the Gospel of Luke. It's known as the parable of the rich fool.
Is this on? There we go. As the story goes, Jesus was amongst his disciples. And some townspeople, one day, someone out of the crowd said to him, "Jesus, tell my brother to share his riches with me." And Jesus turned to the man and replied, "My dear man, who appointed me a judge or arbiter of your affairs. Then, turning to his disciples, he said to them, "Notice that, and be on your guard against feeling jealous or wanting someone else's things. For a person's real life in no way depends upon the number of their possessions." He then told them a parable.
And the parable goes like this. Once upon a time, a rich man had a farm. And one year, his farmland produced heavy crops. The fields in front of him were overflowing with abundance. Strawberries and blueberries and bananas and oranges and grapes, it seems, watermelon, mangoes, pears, some asparagus, it looks like, perhaps some tomatoes. Oh my goodness, a coconut? Oh, an avocado. Oh, the abundance was intense. And as the farmer looked on to his field, he thought to himself, what am I going to do with all of this? I already have so much. My barn is full. What will I do with all this extra food? I know, he said. I'll build a bigger barn. And so they knocked down his small barn. And in its place, they constructed a much larger barn. And the rich man looked on as this project was completed, and he began to store all of his extra food in there. And he said to himself, as he chewed on some of that food, now I can say to my soul, soul, you have plenty of good things stored up in there for years to come. Relax, enjoy, eat, drink, and be merry. You don't need to work hard anymore. And he sat in his luxurious chair, feasting on his ample food supplies. But God said to him,
"You fool, this very day you will be asked for your soul. Then who is going to possess all that you have prepared?"
The rich man looked around, not knowing where the voice was coming from, and then he started to choke on his food. Choke and die. Choke and die. And die. And he fell onto the floor, dead.
This is what happens to the man who hoards things for himself and does not give generously what he does not need.
Oof. Jesus looked on as the scene ended, shaking his head. And he stepped back to his disciples and said, that is why I tell you, life is much more important than the food that you have. Your body is much more important than the clothes that it wears. You must not set your heart on storing away possessions, so set your heart instead on sharing love, and your food and drink will come as a matter of course. To live generously, caring for others, results in a purse that never grows old, where no thief can ever reach it or moth ruin it, within your heart. And that is the end of the parable. You all can stay, fabulous thespians. You can stay right here as we finish up. Much like today, Jesus lived in a time when some people had great riches and others were struggling for the most basic of needs. And he refused to ignore that injustice, and he spent his life taking care of those in need and inspiring others to join him. Through his parables, he invited people to think deeply about what it means to live in right relationship with one another. He seemed to have had a remarkable ability to remind his disciples that their work begins within their own hearts, that we can rarely force someone else to change, but in changing ourselves, we become part of the miracle making. As the lesson of this parable illuminates, we can get caught up in striving, in competing for riches that do not actually make us rich at all. Sometimes we forget, and we need to be reminded about what it means to choose love. May we remember this lesson as we anticipate Christmas this coming week. May we give thanks for Jesus, the teacher, for all that he was in his life, for his reminder to serve others, for how he modeled what it looks like to live your values on this earth, for his expansive love. Blessed be.
I got plenty and then some. What do I do? Plenty and then some. What do I do? I got plenty and then some. What do I do now? Go out and help somebody. Get plenty and then some too. I got a roof over my head. What do I do? A roof over my head. What do I do? I got a roof over my head. What do I do now? Go out and help somebody. Get a roof over their head too. I got supper on the table. What do I do? I got supper on the table. What do I do? I got supper on the table. What do I do now? Go out and help somebody. Get supper on the table too. It's what I do. 'Cause I got it to give. I got it to give. To give away, it's the only way to live. I got it to give. I got it to give. And when you've got enough to give away, it's the only way to live. I'm going to heaven. What do I do? I'm going to heaven. What do I do? Going to heaven. What do I do? Out and help somebody. I go out and help somebody. I go out and help somebody. Get to heaven too. 'Cause I got it to give. I got it to give. And when you've got enough to give away, it's the only way to live. I got it to give. I got it to give. And when you've got enough to give away, it's the only way to live. I got plenty and then some. What do I do? Got plenty and then some. What do I do? Plenty and then some. What do I do now? Go out and help somebody. I go out and help somebody. I go out and help somebody. Get to heaven too.
Wow. sadly, it's time for us to extinguish the flame of our chalice. But I assure you, it's not the light of truth or the warmth of this community, the fire of our commitment, or the charming sounds of our animals. These we carry in our hearts and hopefully out into the world until we are together again. Thank you.
I love me some Pageant. Thank you, everyone. Let us raise those stars one more time from the pews. As we leave here today, remember to seek guidance on your journeys in whatever form it needs to be. To have hope for what is possible, to believe in the power of love. As we share this longest night of the year and the slow return of the sun in the months ahead, let us not forget the potential we have yet to realize. The world we are building together, a heaven here on earth. May it be so.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching, or silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when lo, above the earth rang